So Lexington has a very special place in I think, the heart of anybody who's in the horse world, because this is the absolute cradle for producing the best quality horses, obviously most notably in terms of numbers thoroughbreds, but also sport horses, standard bred race horses. Pretty much anybody who has an interest in horses, this is a center of excellence to be able to grow, raise, train, breed horses in the whole world. It's all right here. When you live in Lexington, it's easy to see that horses are a signature industry of our state. But what I think we forget is the exact caliber and quality and the amount of money that those horses bring into our area.
At the racetrack, you get to see them enter a gate and cross the finish line, and really that's all you see of the horse. But there's so much more that goes in to handling and working and raising and taking care of these incredible, incredible animals. And it is a huge, economic employer here in Kentucky. There's so many people who work with the foals and with the mares. There's so many people who work with the stallions, who work with, yearlings and take them through the auction ring at Kingland. So as they go on to their next journey, trainers that are based here in Central Kentucky as well. And it's hard if all you're seeing is race day. You don't know all that is involved in that.
The industry here, the factory floor of the thoroughbred industry being here, where so many of the mares, are resident here for the thoroughbred industry, and the stallion population that's here gives rise to this, incredible resource which is contained in the soils of Central Kentucky that raises the world's greatest, fastest, and most competitive thoroughbred racehorses that are highly sought after, not only in North America, but around the world, that compete at the highest levels.
We expect around about 18,000 foals to be registered every year on the thoroughbred registry. So in that thoroughbred registry, in 2020, for example, over 16,000 mares came to Kentucky or live in Kentucky, and they were bred to Kentucky stallions. Of those, 8,000 foals will be registered as Kentucky breds. So if you think about those massive numbers, that's a huge amount of tax dollar that comes in from every single aspect of that mare and her baby's life. From people coming to visit, all the veterinarians, all the products we use, the industry that goes with it, the farriers, the feed stores, the tax stores. So for example, in 2021, over $830 million worth of horse flesh got sold. That's just thoroughbreds through Keeneland and Fasig-Tipton. And that doesn't include all the private sales or the standard bred and sport horse sales.
The horse industry here is very large. There are a number of farms, and we're located such that we have a number of clients locally that refer to us. We have a number of clients throughout the world who refer to us. So we're very fortunate in that we chose to locate here, and there wasn't any question about it. We probably have well over 300 people that work in Central Kentucky for Rood and Riddle. So it's grown far more than we ever anticipated.
We typically host in our racing meets, both in the spring and the fall, somewhere in the neighborhood of around 20 to 22,000 guests here a day. During racing sales, there's roughly a direct economic impact of around $351 million for the area itself. That extends to almost $600 million in terms of the overall total economic impact that is held from the activities that exist here. So that includes, hotel reservations, as well as restaurant tours, the bourbon industry, and other things like that that are located here that we all, enjoy and take advantage of as our home, here in the Bluegrass.
There goes Southern Grass you think about what supports the thoroughbred industry, at least 50 different kinds of businesses support the thoroughbred industry. The obvious ones like landscape, maybe less obvious ones like accounting and legal services, the board fences, and the laundries. What other town has signs on their laundromats? We do horse blankets.
So around 2017, we did a study that was exploring the economic importance of the ag industry for just Fayette County. And when we did this, we were really taking a cluster approach by looking not just at production agriculture, but all the other industries that support agriculture. The economic value was about $2.3 billion just in the county. What that means is that that's revenues and sales that can be attributed to any industry that comprises ag. We looked at on-farm employment and activity, but we also looked at all of the other types of businesses that support this sector. So we looked at veterinary services, we looked at the membership groups that are out at the Kentucky Horse Park, we looked at retail services, we looked at Keeneland, and when you did that, it's a pretty big impact, about $2.3 billion. What that counts to is about 1 in 12 jobs could also be attributed to the agricultural cluster. The contribution to the local tax base is about $8.5 million. And what we really care about is not just the revenue that we generate, but the extra money that's in someone's pocket. And so in total, that's about $1.3 billion across the county.
And we are so lucky to be in the horse capital of the world because our businesses and farms are very keen to help our students with internships and with training. And so those internships could also be with the array of support services that we have. We have 2 of the best vet clinics in the entire world.
The Gluck is unique because whilst lots of veterinary schools may do research on horses, that is all we do here is research on horses for their well-being and for the health of our industry. So we have the unique ability to attract amazingly talented and passionate people to our area. And when we also recruit those people, they will bring with them students, research dollars. We get good research dollars here. And the great thing is that usually that means people really fall in love with the state of Kentucky and they stay.
The land here is impeccable to raise a horse on. No other place that I'm aware of that has the type of land that we have here in the soils that we have to be able to nurture horses over.
To give a little background, Fayette County has about 180,000 acres in the county, and about 50,000 acres is in the urban service area, and that leaves about 130,000 acres in the rural service area. And of that 130,000 acres, about 58% of that is prime farmland. It's one of the top soils of the country, is labeled prime farmland. There's about 63 soil mapping units in the county, and one of those is Maury Silt Loam that makes up about 30% of the rural service area.
Maury is an excellent soil for farming, and in Fayette County and the surrounding counties, basically from Clark County to Jessamine County, and then from about Mercer County up to Scott County is what the inner bluegrass covers, and this soil is prevalent throughout those counties. And what's important about this, as you look across these landscapes, this is prime farmland. When I say prime farmland, what prime farmland is land that has the best characteristics for growing crops.
We can attribute our existence to the top 6 inches of soil in this country. It's what produces our food and fiber, and it needs to be protected. It needs to have some protection for those soils in the United States. And so we're blessed to have this type of soil in Fayette County, not only for the agricultural community, but also for the equine community.
We are way the biggest producers of horses in any of the states. So our industry is one that is not just iconic and is a signature for Kentucky, and you can say, oh, you know, Kentucky Derby, Kentucky Bluegrass, but it's a huge agricultural financial powerhouse.
We are an epicenter, and students want to come here. I think there's so many people, if you think about the industry, who moved to Lexington when we didn't have an undergrad program. We give them basic education in animal handling if they don't have it, but the farms that host them certainly expand their education quite a bit. And we have so many wonderful horse farms that take our students, and some take them again and again. And many of our students that have worked on some of the farms have become national leaders in their fields already, even though our program is still young.
Where else in the world can you go and access these beautiful horse farms, these beautiful horses? So that includes thoroughbred breeding farms, stallion stations, 2 of our world-renowned vet clinics, a world-renowned sport horse farm as well as feed mills. So really just trying to open our industry and open the gates here in Lexington, the horse capital of the world, to guests and friends alike.
This is really a special treat for me to see these thoroughbreds and the quality, the farms and their living facilities and the way they care for them and their history of racing.
There is nowhere else in the world that you can do that but Lexington, Kentucky.
I have house guests all the time now, and that's because everybody wants to come to Lexington for either the races, the sales, some conferences, continuing education events that we put on here, whether they're veterinarians or horse people, or they're coming to Breierfest, or they're coming to show at the horse park. And we need to book in advance to get a place at a restaurant. We have this extraordinary luxury of having all these wonderful places to eat, things to do in our area, and a lot of those are brought by the horse dollars and the people that own those horses and bring so much to our area.
The intensity of management here in Central Kentucky, not just the veterinary management, but all levels of management, the care of the thoroughbred or of horses in general. I think that's one of the things too that is given rise to out of the investment of things like Keeneland and the thoroughbred industry here, is we also see other breeds, that are attracted to this area because of the investment that's here. Almost the quote unquote infill that we have from all that investment here. Other breeds participate in that, and we have resources like the Kentucky Horse Park that exist here that attract high quality competition in the sport horse arena. And many, many people come here and covet being in this region of Central Kentucky for a lot of those amenities that they look for, not just for the thoroughbred, for all breed disciplines of horses.
In 2012, we did a survey here at UK to try and understand how much the equine industry means to the Commonwealth. And at that time, we could capture data on about $3 billion worth of turnover that it brings to the state of Kentucky, where we have 1.1 million acres under land used for horses. So Lexington is a really great place to live, and I think it is heavily contributed to by our horse industry. Now, I am a tad biased, I do recognize that, but I've lived in other places which are horse-centric, and it's still not like it is here. So by comparison, this is a town that is heavily supported by our industry.